Have you ever seen someone you know go from ordinary to suddenly semi-famous? A polished, artificial front familiar to hundreds of thousands of people. A musician from high school who made it big, perhaps. Or a film star you recognize as the blonde girl on your freshman floor with the eating disorder. Have you ever wondered the mechanics of popularization? How does someone go from being a real person, someone you actually knew, to a set of marketing and publicity points, consumed and lauded by fans who think they know them, but don't really, but understand this also, and celebrate them regardless?
Hey guys, so we are going to be annotating today. I'm super excited. I do want to start off by saying that before today, whenever I did annotate my books, I have never previously written on a book in my entire life. All of my annotations have always been sticky notes. I would have sticky notes and I'd write on the sticky note and then put the sticky note in the book. That was the way I annotated in the early days. I would just have little sticky notes and then the little smaller ones. And that was kind of what I did for all my books if I felt, they were worthy of annotations. But I've recently, as of today, decided that I want to do more than that. I have just been very interested but cautious of actually physically writing in the book, whether that is getting a highlighter and highlighting passages, or underlining things with pens, or just physically writing in the book, just my notes and my thoughts. It's always really cute to see other people do it, but I'm always get very anxious and nervous that mine will just turn out ugly, or I'll use the wrong pens and it'll bleed through the page and it'll just ruin everything. So that definitely makes me very, very nervous. But today, for the first time, I did annotate my first book, where it's actually writing in the book, actually highlighting the book. So I wouldn't show it to you guys. I did Yellowface, which is a book that I read a month ago. I gave it 5 stars because it was perfection. What can I say? If you guys know any book recs like this, please send them down below, because I loved this book. From page 1, I loved it. If you've read this book, then you know what I'm talking about. It was so creepy. It was up my alley. So any book recs I will accept. So yeah, this is the book that I annotated today, and I didn't do anything special, to be completely honest with you, because I didn't want to go overboard too crazy. So what I did was, I also like to keep my books looking super clean. So me personally, in years past, I would have these little sticky notes and they would kind of be hanging out a little bit, and for me personally, that was just not aesthetically pleasing. I just don't like the look of them outside of the page. I don't know, I just don't think it's that cute. So when I annotated this book, I actually purposely did not include any of the little baby sticky notes. That's just a thing I did. I might switch that up and I might include them in another book that I decided to annotate. But for this one, I skipped that. When I annotated this book today, I actually headed to the library. I just wanted a kind of a change of scenery while I did my little annotations. So literally the only thing that I did to annotate my book was I grabbed some highlighters. I actually bought these. I'm pretty sure I got them from Amazon. I'll link them down below, but they were super cheap. Comes in a pack of 12. And they have the neon and the pastel versions of the colors. And for the book that I did today, I used the pastel yellow, and it worked perfectly. I mean, it has, they're fine point. So it looks like this. It's the perfect, what is it? Diameter, is that the word? It's the perfect, whatever for books. So I use that. And happy thing is that the highlighters did not bleed through. So if you're looking for any recs for highlighters that don't bleed through, I can recommend that pack. Like I said, I will link them down below. Here are some annotations, highlighters that I made. And if I flip the page, hold on, the light is taken away. But if I flip the page, you can't see it on this. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I think that's really cool. So I was very, very happy to learn that it wasn't going to bleed through. I will say the first annotation I made, I actually started with pen. So I started with my favorite pens, which is the Sharpie gel pens. And I did this, but I ended up hating the way it looked because I think like my gel pens just didn't really glide along the page that well, and I was very jumpy and nervous, so like it's fucking weird looking and just like not straight at all, and it just didn't look pleasing to my eye. So I like kind of stopped midway and finished it with the yellow highlighter, and so I decided after that I was gonna just continue completely with the yellow highlighter. But yeah, honestly, all of my annotations, I didn't like specify or put them into like 5 million categories. I didn't do that. I do see myself doing that in the future, but I just didn't do that this time because I don't know. I think my mindset is like I'll probably only use like all of these different tabs and like give them each like a category. I'll probably only do that if it's a book that is like big in world. Like if it's a new world, a fantasy thing, it's got to be something pretty extravagant and probably a book genre that can't happen in real life for me to need to go big brain and use those. Okay, back to it. Father called me. So yeah, I didn't like specify what the like different things that I highlighted were regarding to. It was kind of just like if it spoke to me, it was getting highlighted. I actually read this book on my Kindle, so I had to get my Kindle and like see things that I highlighted. Okay, is it just me or do I have like a fucking speech problem? Because I can't say the word highlighted like confidently. Like it doesn't come out good. It's like highlighted. Like I feel like I'm high. Anyways, it's totally fine. It's fine. Let me read one to you, but I'll pick one that's like not detrimental to the fucking plot line. Ooh, this is a really, really good one. I don't know if you guys know the plot line of this book, but super, super quick. It is about a author who steals another author's manuscript and sells it as her own. And the person who she steals it from passes, so she dies, and so there's no one to like claim it, so she steals it and makes it her own book. And this is a quote in there, and I guess the quote relates to the book because our main character is white, but she steals her manuscript from she Chinese? It's been a minute. Yeah, from a Chinese American woman. Okay, so she says, I think it's very dangerous to start censoring what authors should and shouldn't write. I'd hate to live in a world where we tell people that they should and shouldn't write based on the color of their skin. I mean, turn what you're saying around and see how it sounds. Can a black writer not write a novel with a white protagonist? What about everyone who has written about World War II and never lived through it? You can critique a work on the grounds of literary quality and its representations of history, sure. But I see no reason why I shouldn't tackle this subject if I'm willing to do the work. And as you can tell by the text, I did the work. You can look up my bibliographies, you can do the fact-checking yourself. Meanwhile, I think writing is fundamentally an exercise in empathy. Reading lets us live in someone else's shoes. Literature builds bridges. It makes our world larger, not smaller. And as for the question of profit, I mean, should every writer who writes about dark things feel guilty about it? Should creatives not be paid for their work? So I think that was like a really good quote. I don't know. I felt very studious when I was highlighting that. But yeah, guys, that's kind of like I said, like my annotations. I kind of wanted to make this video because just like this is a new way that I am annotating, whereas previously I have done my annotations just in like a different way, and I guess I'm just happy that I took that step and did it like this, because when I got to the library and I took out all of my tools and all my little all of these, and I have like other like marker highlighters, but after I took all of them out, I was just sitting there for like 5 minutes, didn't know where to start. I was very nervous that I was going to start and then absolutely hate it, or start it and just completely ruin the pages, and everything was going to bleed through and it was going to look horrible and it wasn't going to feel good, you know? Because I've been that girly for years, where I'm just like, I'd never dog-ear my book, which I still haven't. I would never write in my book, which now I have. You know what I mean? I would never break my spine, which I haven't, at least not on purpose. And so, change is interesting. And so I thought I would document my change. I also have a couple more books I need to annotate. That will probably get done some other time, but let me know down below how you guys annotate your books. If you annotate like all of your books, because me personally, I only annotate books that are like very, very hard to understand. So like big fantasy books, I need to like, you know, have kind of a grasp of what's going on, write super quick quibs about history so that I can really easily go back to it and read a very quick summary of it so I understand what's happening. Or I do it for books that I am genuinely obsessed with, and that's kind of my way of deciding when I'm going to annotate and when I'm not going to annotate. All right, that's the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know down below if you have any questions, comments, and any book recommendations, because I love reading, as I'm sure you do too. Okay.